Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always, guys, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at what's going on with the dollar. Of course, any requests, any recommendations, drop it down in the chat. Any time frames you're looking at, let us know and we'll take a look. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Also, you can find it at the top of the chat. You can join discussions, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. So if you're looking to join, make sure you check out the link in the description. And of course, good morning to everyone on the stream. Hope everyone is well. What's up, Kimmy? Good morning. What's up, Matt? Good morning. Hope you're well. Darkashon, good morning. What is up? Nice rejection GJ last night, close to 196. Yeah, we have seen a bit of downside this morning on the yen pairs. I will go through a bunch of them. That's giving me a good profit yesterday after flipping the gap. Nice. So yeah, I'll go through some of the indices as well. Take a look at what's going on in the indices because I think still giving mixed signals, especially S&P as well. But yeah, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at Euro, rest of the USD pairs, gold, silver, DXY, and we'll probably flick through some indices as well. But first thing is first, we've of course got the dollar. So it looks like the dollar is still holding that strength from the past few days. And I'm favoring that to continue. I am looking at a retest of 105.5. I'll also probably keep an eye on this low here as well. That is the support level we had just before we broke through and saw all of that momentum. Never had a retest of that level either. So if price was to get there, I would say there's a good chance we do see at least a bit of a reaction. So in for the USD, I am still pretty bullish in this one, kind of short, medium term. At the moment, we're still really corrective, so nothing too fantastic. It's not like prices ripping to the upside, but we did form a really nice level bottom here. I mean, of course, we did break through some structure as well, taking out some highs there. So we are seeing some consistent high lows. It's just very, very corrective. So it doesn't give me too much. It doesn't give me too much of a sign that price is really reversing for the dollar. At the moment, it just looks like price is having another pullback for perhaps another move to the downside. So still looking at higher prices. We're kind of still dancing around 104.5, but it's not clean. We did break above it a couple of days back as well. And I just want price to pull back a lot more before I do start shorting, especially when we are so corrective and we're kind of forming this kind of rounded bottom here as well, which is typically a reversal pattern and does actually perform pretty well. So naturally, I'm expecting price to break high there for the dollar and 105.5, retesting that support level in the daily chart. I think it would be a nice place to potentially look for some sells. Of course, we have to see our price gets there, how we react before judging anything. But still looking for a bit more upside in dollar and then some sells. Euro, pretty much the exact opposite of that. Of course, Euro had this lovely bowl-shaped pattern here as well on the daily chart. Price went from looking very bearish to starting becoming a lot more corrective and then forming some equal lows. Then went through some higher lows, and of course we had that explosion to the upside. And we have left behind some really nice levels for retest. I like the high over here at 1.06. And I also like the level here as well at 1.05. Again, if you can retest either of them, I'll be looking for a bounce. Possibly back to the swing high. There is a good chance we could push all the way back to 1.095. But of course, we'll make that kind of decision closer to when the trade is actually forming. Might be some other levels that I might look to target. But yeah, so far, Euro USD is actually very corrective on the way down. I was expecting price to kind of break to the upside, maybe give us another lower high on the 4-hour chart and then fall. And that still could be a possibility because price is so corrective. Yeah, not too sure if we'll keep up being so corrective all the way down. Feel like we either pick up the pace or we might see a push up first before we do come down, because the market is looking very tired on its bearish journey here. But in terms of the analysis for Euro, clean break to the upside. We've got a bit tired now, so looking for a bit of retracement and then looking for a higher low to take price back to the highs And those two levels would be my area of interest. In terms of pound USD, same thing pretty much with this one as well. Altogether, looks like price is really tight over here. Again, kind of like around the top here as well. So again, a very common pattern which does resemble highs normally or lows in the market, and you would expect at least a retracement from that. Not necessarily reversal every time, but at least a retracement. And during the morning as well, prices had a few attempts trying to break through some resistance here, and at the moment it's not looking too good. So naturally, pound USD to me looks like we could probably have a bit of a move to the downside as well. Hourly chart showing a lot of attempts trying to break through resistance here at 1.297. Big attempt there, a few more attempts this morning. I do think price can probably have a bit of a fall, especially if DXY does see some upside. And I've been looking for price to fall as well. 1.28 down here looks like a solid level of prior resistance on the daily chart, which now hopefully can be used as support. And also this area here as well, 1.27, solid resistance, really nice breakout. Would love to see price come back and retest that. Look for some long opportunities to try and take price higher. So pound USD, my analysis pretty much mirrors Euro USD pretty much. Just looking for pullbacks, waiting for price to come to me before I do look for any long opportunities. If we go over to dollar CAD, so I believe this one's still holding on to support. Yeah, so we've got support here on the daily chart, which is doing a pretty good job at holding price. I've been looking for price to break through this, but yeah, it's been very stubborn. We've had quite a few attempts trying to break through now. We've got one over there, big piercing wick, price turn around. Nice wick there, price turn around. Again, nice piercing wick through the zone, price did turn around there as well. So this to me looks like support is holding very well on the daily chart, and there's been no kind of clear signs on the daily of a breakout. Of course, on the 4-hour time frame, we did see price just about close below, but then when you see the daily time frame just provide a wick, that's a bit of a big red flag there. Especially when you see a breakout on the lower time frame and the higher time frame just provides a wick. Most of the time it's just a fake out, and price is likely to turn around. And it looks like dollar CAD is doing exactly that. So we do have some resistance up here. I wonder if price is going to push back towards that area, because effectively dollar CAD has just been ranging between these two levels for a while, minus these two massive fake outs, 1 and 2. Price has just been comfortably inside this range. So now that we're respecting the low of support, potentially we might see a bit of a swing to the upside. And again, if dollar's going to be strong as well, that should really help out USD CAD to the upside. So yeah, very bullish on dollar CAD, expecting a bit of a swing there. I do think the bigger move is still short, but until we kind of get a break of the support level, so as I've been saying, until we get something like this or something like this, you know, I'm very much staying away from dollar CAD for now. And in terms of Aussie dollar, very flat this week. If I go to the weekly candle, yeah, slightly bullish. Not really much to report on this week for Aussie dollar. Again, we've rejected really solid resistance on the daily chart. So around, what is that, 0.636. Price is holding that very well. Of course, you've got some solid support below us, around 0.615. Essentially, we've kind of been up and down between those two levels. I did say if price does break out of this, I will be pretty bullish at that point, because a solid break above the swing high would convince me that, okay, we've had a big bearish move, price is consolidated, and now we're kind of reverse. So that will kind of convince me of that reversal. A solid break to the upside, but of course, we have not done that. At the moment, resistance is still holding, and I'm expecting a bit of a push to the downside there for Aussie dollar, back into support, back into the low end of the range, and possibly, again, another bounce as well. So there could be some nice entries to take advantage of, but as I drop to the 4-hour chart, very rough price action at the moment, so I wouldn't try and do anything inside of that. Perhaps a solid break of that low can probably give us a push back into support here, or even if you can push back into resistance, reject it, that would be a nice place for a short as well. But yeah, price action is looking very sideways, so I would avoid getting involved there. Ends the USD, same situation here as well. Very flat. This one respected some levels on the daily and weekly chart very well. Got a massive swing low on the left. You can see in the weekly chart, which is providing a lot of wicks into that area, especially last week's candle, nice piercing wick to the upside. We pull back, close bearish. So again, there's a good chance we could probably roll over, come back and test support around 0.556. Drop into the daily chart as well. You can see the past few days have just been very sideways. So again, possibly a strong break of that consolidation will be the catalyst to get us on the move. So something like that. And then we could be looking for some pullbacks and continuations. But yeah, I'm not really convinced at all. Almost looks like a head and shoulder pattern to me, with that kind of being the neckline. And as we're failing at the highs, I would expect a pretty big move down. And again, if USD is going to be strong, that should help out that move as well. And then, of course, you got your lovely gold, which was looking very bullish this morning, breaking to the upside. We're having a bit of a pullback at the moment. We're finding some resistance around 30.75, I suppose, 30.80, coming back into some minor psychological levels there. I did point out yesterday that 3100 is probably the next big target for gold. And of course, we have smashed through the high like it was nothing. And I do think 3100 is looking likely to be hit next. If you can get some pullbacks in gold, then you're looking good. Probably on the lower time frames, probably 30-minute chart. Perhaps a retest of the high there could look good. But the way I see it, gold is looking extremely bullish. No real signs of slowing down. Overall trend is still very much to the upside. Higher time frames still showing a lot of momentum there as well, so I would only be looking to buy this one, at least for now anyway. And yeah, we got the next big psychological level at 3100. And of course, silver, which I'm currently still long on this one. Nice move to the upside there as well. Really strong, solid close. On the daily chart, I'm looking to see if we can get past the wick high here at 34.8. Targets roughly around 35. I have moved stops to break even, so there's no risk on the trade anymore. I'm just gonna let price do its thing. If it does come back and take me at break even, that's fine. We've cleared some highs now, so if price does come back to these prices, I don't really want to be in the trade anymore because that means momentum has been lost anyway. So I'd rather just look for re-entries. But if silver can keep pushing, great. I'll start looking to trail my stop loss. And look to secure some profit around 35 there. But yeah, gold, really nice break to the upside. That's looking pretty bullish. I expect silver to follow suit. I think these highs here looking very likely to be taken out. And yeah, it's going to hold and see what we can do. But yeah, it does look like gold and silver still bullish, even despite the momentum we're seeing on the dollar. Looks like dollar's got a bit of upside left, so I don't know what that means for gold and silver. Sometimes the correlation is there, sometimes it's not. So, yeah, we will see. Anyway, we'll take a look at GJ and NAS as well. Arusha, what is up? Good. Are you planning to get into a new position? Not at the moment, no. Nothing's really setting up for me just yet. I'm looking a lot at the yen pairs for some shorts, but I don't think they're quite ready yet for the swing I'm looking for. There's quite a few yen pairs I'm looking to get into some sells. I'm not looking to sell all of them. I'll just see which one kind of sets up the best in the next few days. But yeah, yen pairs, I do like the looks of them, but not looking for entry just yet. A few USD pairs look to get involved with. Dollar CHF, if that can break out, I do like the longs there. I'll take a look at dollar CHF in a second. New Zealand CAD, if that retraces, I like the shorts on that one as well. A few USD pairs I'm looking to ride some pullback, so Euro USD pound as well. So I got quite a few markets I'm looking at, but nothing I'm looking to find any entries just yet. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Ivan, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Hate when the marketplace without waiting for the news, trying to stop you out or only to pace in your direction afterwards. Yeah, of course that is extremely annoying. Yeah, I mean, the market will make it difficult for you to trade. It's not going to be just you take a buy and it just shoots into your just hit the mic and just shoots into your take profit instantly. Of course, there will be some trades that do that, which are great, but there will be some trades that kind of consolidate a little bit, maybe go into a lot of drawdown, maybe almost hit your stop loss and then turn around as well. So there will be trades like that as well. You have to watch out for. BTC looks interesting for a sell at the moment. Yeah, I had a look at crypto. A lot of cryptocurrencies looking pretty bearish. XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, I think Ethereum looking a little bit bearish this morning. Seeing some momentum. I will definitely go take a look at those. What's up, Gideon? Hope you're good. Can you tell why USD news was green yesterday but no positive moves for USD pairs? No, not really, to be honest. Again, there'll be a lot of things that do factor into USD moving. There potentially could be some bullish news for the dollar, but because of some other factors, it might not be bullish enough to actually see a bullish dollar. There might be some underlying factors which are keeping dollar pretty bearish, or vice versa. So again, with my trading style, I'm very technical focused, so I'm always looking to see what USD is doing on the chart. If I'm seeing bullish momentum there, then I'll use that information. If people are expecting a bullish dollar but dollar is not bullish yet, then I'm not going to be looking to take any advantage of any opportunities that align with that, because the chart is just not ready yet to be bullish or bearish. You know, it goes both ways. Okay, let me go through GJ first, then I'll take a look at NAS, and then we'll go through BTC as well. So, Darkshon, you said you're looking to sell GJ on some retracements. So I'm getting ready to sell Pound Yen. I am pretty bearish on this pair long term, and I do think we're getting ready for a big sell as price pushes higher. I'm looking for potentially another lower high creeping in, one over there, second over there, and a third somewhere in here. I think we can see some downside, even if we don't get a move back down to here, even if it's just, you know, price makes a move 50% on the way down. And if I can get a sell into there, that's enough for me to look to secure some gains and then see if I can potentially capitalize on the bigger move. But the way I see it, Pound Yen's had a really nice retracement, and we're coming to an area where we can sell. Looking at the lower time frames, or lower than the weekly at least, I wouldn't say daily is a lower time frame. Looking at the daily chart, we still do have some support below us, which is making things a little bit awkward. We are still very corrective in nature as we push up. So it does tell me that we're likely to eventually sell off. It's not like we've exploded to the upside here. We're still very, very corrective, kind of similar to how we maneuvered over here. You can see how corrective price was. Eventually price did go through a pretty nice sell, and I'll be looking for something similar again over here. But at the moment, it looks like we've just broken through some solid resistance on the daily 4-hour chart, and now price is testing that as support. So like I said, I'm not quite ready to be looking to short Pound Yen just yet. Potentially, we might even use this to, keep pushing to the upside and see some new highs. So I'm being a little bit more patient with Pound Yen at the moment. This is still support, which could easily take us back into resistance, just underneath 196. So it depends what you're looking for. If price potentially can break through that, things get interesting. If not, if we keep just respecting this level like we're doing so far, then I do think we could pretty much see a move back into the high at 195.8, 196, and then maybe we might see some sales come around from there again. But yeah, at the moment testing support, so not quite ready to short Pound Yen just yet. I do like this one because of how it's moving. I think the chance of a lower high are forming are pretty good, but I just need to make sure I'm not jumping the gun and getting in a little bit too early. So yeah, Pound Yen, my take is that we're at support right now. Still very, very consistent with all these high lows. So I'm not looking to short it just yet. And as we see, we are approaching support there as well. So yeah, I do fancy another push to the upside for Pound Yen. and perhaps maybe we double top it, then sell from there, or maybe spike above it, then sell. But more or less, we are in a nice area where we can turn around. Just need to wait for some bearish structure to come into play. And at the moment, not quite seeing that. So being a bit careful there with pound yen. And in terms of NAS 100, we did go and fill the gap yesterday, didn't we? I am looking for a push to the upside for NAS. I think we're still obeying this trend line here. We filled the gap, of course. We pushed slightly below it as well. So this was the gap we were discussing yesterday. And of course, we've gone and filled that completely. In my book, if NAS can start to hold this area, I do think there is a push to the upside to be had. I'm looking for price to still go higher. Reason being, we've got a lovely level of support here, which will be turn resistance on the daily chart, which I do think the market is likely to come back and retest, because I'm looking for price to get there to potentially sell off again. We've had that lovely impulsive move past few weeks. Now we're looking at a corrective move on the way back up. And my take is we're likely to form a lower high there to continue. In fact, if we do break above this, I'll probably scrap my bearish bias altogether. At that point, we're probably breaking back above the 200 as well, which again is another bullish characteristic for NAS. But if we respect that area, then yeah, I'm pretty bearish. So that's kind of where I'm expecting NAS to get to. So yeah, at the moment, still coming back into bullish territory. I think this is still a nice place for a buy. To see a nice swing to the upside, at least back to some areas around here. Doesn't have to be that level in the daily chart, but that's where I do think price will get to. Okay, so we'll take a look at BTC next. Gets daily close below 84,200. I think I'll be keen to have a punt at BTC. Okay, we'll have a look at that. No problem, Gideon, happy to help. Means price action has all the information. Yeah, I would say that. Besides, you can check if USDR is ripe for bears to harvest. Yep, okay, I'll take a look at USDR for you. But yeah, price action has the information, because of course you can have your fundamental bias of what you're expecting a market to do, but of course if you're very bullish on something and the market's still looking pretty bearish, yeah, it's not the time to be looking to jump into anything. Means you're waiting for your confirmations, which is where your understanding of price action comes in, and then of course you can take advantage of your fundamental bias, but you need to make sure price is actually ready to see that happen. If it's not ready, then it's going to be buying aimlessly or selling aimlessly. So BTC, yeah, we are seeing some momentum this morning. XRP was looking pretty bearish as well. How's Ethereum? Yeah, oh, Ethereum's not looking hot at all. So yeah, Bitcoin looking pretty bearish. I was hoping we could push a little bit higher. I was looking for roughly 90K for us to revisit again before shorting. Bitcoin's been very, very corrective on the way up here. Very, very corrective. So yeah, I'm expecting prices to correct and then drop really. Maybe it's already going to drop from where it's trading, but I was looking around 90, 91K, solid level of support up there. Would be nice to see price come back and retest that. We do, of course, have a really nice level just below us, around 73, 74K. That's kind of where I'm expecting price to push into. Matt, you said if price closes below 84,200. Whereabouts is that? 84,200. That's somewhere around there-ish. I suppose you're probably looking a bit of a counter trend line maybe. Price can break through that, potentially looking for a short. Yeah, I mean, if that momentum really spills over, then yeah, you're likely to see price kind of just continue to fall, because we are pretty consistent with the lower highs. The way I see it, price has been putting in lower highs since the all-time high back in Jan earlier this year. We've just been putting lower high in after lower high, and the market's been very, very consistent with that, and looks like it's possibly printing another one. So yeah, if we could see some momentum below that, I would agree, especially in the daily close as well. I would agree that we're likely to continue to the downside, at least back to support here. But of course, we got that massive area just below us. I would expect price to get to this area here anyway. So yeah, Bitcoin not looking too hot right now. Seeing some momentum to the downside. I wonder if USD strength has a part to play in that as well. If I look at XRP, yeah, that's looking really bearish there. And of course, Ethereum, yeah, this one clearing out major support and hasn't really looked back since, so not looking too good for Ethereum either. Okay, light trend line breaks, but I want to see a clean break before getting in this, as I'm like, you expecting high. Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, because 90k did like a nice level to sell, but of course, as a trader, you of course got to be reactive to the market, because price won't always hit the areas precisely you're expecting. Sometimes the market's a bit more bearish and it falls a little bit early, or a bit more bullish and it moves higher, sort of like my silver position. I was looking for price to come a lot lower, well, a bit lower, before looking to buy, but momentum shifted already, and I thought, why not, let's have a stab at it. But yeah, it looks pretty bearish to me, and I think a solid close on the daily chart would be a nice little signal to take some shorts. If we can continue this narrative here, a break through that, you're looking around 78k, 73k for some targets, or probably further than that. But if you're just being fairly cautious, push back to the low makes a load of sense, and of course you've got the target there too. Let me take a look at USD ZAR. Has that one finally hit the level yet? Oh, okay, USD ZAR. This one had a little bit of fun. So we've got support level here around 18.3, and we're talking about a retest of this area before shorting. And we got a really kind of crazy wick into that level there, but price did react pretty well and is looking pretty bearish. That corrective nature has ended. Strong close there. So yeah, naturally we'll be expecting USD ZAR to push back into support now, back at 18.01055 into that low basically. But yeah, it was a very solid rejection of that support level. And yeah, very interesting as well, because price has been so corrective and it formed a lot of highs just underneath. Looks like price is probably just sucking in a lot of positions, a lot of orders just above the high there, as maybe a lot of people would have put stop losses there, and it wicked through that, and then it decided to have that drop. So yeah, being patient, waiting for that level would have paid off quite nicely. But yeah, USDs are looking pretty bearish, and now I'm expecting momentum to continue back into support. We could go further, but I think I'll just play it safe, because every time USDZAR does crash into a low, it does kind of turn around. So we might still do something like that. That is still definitely on the cards there for USDZAR. But at the moment, looking pretty bearish, and I think we're likely to see lower prices here. We're likely to see lower prices, which is interesting because USD is still pretty strong right now. So ZAR's just stronger, I guess. But yeah, I would be expecting lower prices there for USD ZAR. I'm going to go through the yen pairs because they are still very interesting to me. They're trading at some prices where I do think we can turn around. I will go through dollar CHF before though, because I did say I do have an opportunity which I'm looking at for USD CHF, and it's definitely a pair which I'm interested in. But in fairness, this consolidation has been going on forever. Price had a lovely double bottom, I think a couple of weeks back now, or maybe last week. When was that? 19th of March. Yeah, that was the week before last. And yeah, price has just been consolidating and hasn't gone anywhere at all. We're trapped between resistance and trapped between support, and resistance. I'm looking at price breaking to the upside. I'm looking at something like this happening and some upside. We have come back to a pretty big level on the daily chart, and we formed a really nice double bottom here as well. So I do still see price turning around. I think we've had our fun with that momentum, and now we can see price push up. But again, the plan is not to jump the gun, because we could still break to the downside. When the market is sideways, it's difficult to predict a breakout. But once we do see a breakout, then things get a lot easier to maneuver. Look, especially if you're looking for a retest, you're waiting for price to pull back towards you, see if you can get some solid rejections and find some entries. So that would be my plan there for USD CHF. And then targets, there's a nice level of support here on the daily chart, which I like to see a retest of. Kind of lines up with the high there on the left as well. And if the DXY is going to pull back to 105.5, that probably will drag USD CHF to the upside with it as well. So yeah, waiting for a bit of a break to the upside for dollar CHF, but at the moment it's been very, very sideways. So not much to report on for that one. Fonzo Silver TPS day at 3 p.m. Nice. Yeah, it did go and smash the high, didn't it? It was the same candle. Was it the same candle, or was it a different candle? Okay, it was the new candle after the current one. But yeah, we did go and hit that high. I've now trailed my stops to break even. I'm looking for price to get to the high over there. So we'll see how that goes. So far, still looking pretty bullish. I had a nice little retest this morning. As you can see, that prior high there, wicked into it. And we had a nice push to the upside. So hopefully we can still continue. But we'll see how it goes. The risk has been removed. So worst case scenario, we'll walk away flat. But yeah, I'm really liking momentum has picked up. So I think there's a pretty good chance we get to the high at 34.8. But yeah, really nice trade there, Afonso. Okay, so we'll go through Vicky, Euro Yen. Yeah, I'm about to go through the yen pairs. We'll start with Euro Yen. Excuse me. How's used to get? I closed that trade last week, was it? Or was it this week? No, last week. I closed the position like Friday last week, I think, or Thursday. It was just going sideways, and price was still respecting support. My expectation was that support was going to break, because I was short. I was short up here, and my targets were down here. And then price respected the level of support once, came back to my entry, pushed back down, respected it twice, and then had another bounce again there as well. So I just closed the trade off that second bounce, because support was holding and overall the market was pretty flat anyway. So yeah, I mean, I'm still looking for more downside to see if price returns back to the high again, and hopefully I capitalize on a short from the high, or we go and break out and then look for some re-entries on the retest of the level. So I still do have that bearish bias. I'm still pretty bearish in dollar CAD, but I have closed that position. Was not moving well. I'll take the small profit. Would have been nice to potentially hold back to the low, but yeah, support was doing its job that day, or those days, I should say. So I have closed that position early. In terms of Euro Yen, so again, Euro Yen, a pair which I'm still looking to short. I did hop into a short position last week on this candle closure, but I did close the trade because price wasn't moving too well, still very corrective, and I was anticipating some more weakness on the yen. And so far, we kind of have seen more weakness. Hasn't really blitzed the upside because Euro's been a bit weak, I think, as well. But yeah, I'm not quite convinced with Euro Yen at the moment. It's still coming to some nice areas where I do think we can turn around. And I do think price will give us that lovely head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder, and the break of the neckline is on the horizon. But at the same time, I don't want to jump the gun and get into something which isn't quite ready to be sold yet, just because my higher time frame bias is really, really bearish. Market's still very consistent with the high lows here. And and hasn't really broken structure yet either. So I might wait for price to break structure before jumping in, or I might see what we do on a retest of a high. If we come in and see some solid rejection, I may hop in for like a double top. If not, then I might wait for price to kind of break structure first and find some pullbacks later on to jump in and write it down, because I'm expecting Euro Yen to go pretty far, so I don't need to sell the high and get in right at the top. But yeah, in terms of Euro Yen, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're on the lower time frames for Euro Yen, I think buys still look pretty good. Like I said, we still got a good chance to push back into resistance there. If I drop to the hourly chart, we might now be putting another higher low, some prior resistance. Looks like it's holding a support over here. Could see a nice swing to the upside potentially this afternoon, back into resistance, and maybe even back to the high there on the left as well. So the way I see it, Euro Yen still pretty consistent with the high lows. Therefore, if you can try and catch another one, you're in a good place for that, and can at least probably take it back to the high at 163.2. So yeah, Euro Yen, if you're in intraday, if you're looking at intraday opportunities, I would say buys still look pretty good with this one. I'm personally getting ready to sell it, so I'm not really interested in the buys. But that's the best play I can see right now for Euro Yen. If Euro Yen does take up the high here, it does make things a little bit more awkward as well, because this is the structure I'm looking to trade. So my expectation is a lower high in comparison to that high there. If we go and take out that high, then we're probably going to push back to this high, which again, the sells could still look really good up there, but would we see that swing? I'm not too sure. I mean, yeah, I'll save that for another day, because we'll get more information, because we'll judge how price gets there as well and how we were reacting. But yeah, I would like price to respect the high here, because my analysis is I'm looking for a third lower high for that swing back down. If we break high, well, we're not seeing that third lower high, are we? So it does make things a little bit awkward. But yeah, for now, still seeing price slowly climb higher. And I think we do have another push to the upside in us. What's up, Upal? I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Dark Sean Naz pushing up pretty hard before the news. Okay. How is Naz looking? Yeah, we are seeing some momentum there. It has come back to a nice area, to be honest. I do think, especially with how price is moving, you can see we had a lot of momentum. Now suddenly price has slowed down. We're seeing a lot more wicks, a lot more corrective nature, especially that last 4-hour candle with that wick to the downside. Because at one point it was looking pretty bearish, and then it pulled back and provided a nice little wick there to the downside. So yeah, the way I see it, I think Nas could be sitting up quite nicely for a buy, to be honest. I'm still looking at a swing like that forming, and at least a push back to the high around 2100 makes a lot of sense. I still think we can get all the way up here around 2600 for a sell. So the way I see it, there is definitely some upside here to be had for Nas. I'll wait for a strong bullish engulfing candle on the hourly chart, something like that, to really confirm things. But it does look like Nas is trying to push to the upside. Pound CAD, yes, I will take a look at Pound CAD for you. And I'll finish off with the yen pairs. So Pound CAD, Pound CAD's at an interesting area where we could actually see a nice sell there. So Pound CAD, I'm looking for a push back into this area. We've got massive daily support here. We've of course broke through for a lot of momentum. Now I'm looking for price to retrace and come back and test that area. If you scoot to the weekly chart, we've taken out some major highs on the left, which is this high over here. You can see we've wicked past that. So the market's taken out a lot of liquidity, and we're definitely due a bit of a pullback. If you go to the monthly chart, you'll see it a little bit better. So we've taken out some highs there. Naturally, I think we're due a bit of a pullback. And of course, Where could we pull back into? Well, we've got a pretty obvious level of resistance there, which will probably attract price anyway. So naturally, I'm looking for a push back into 1.82 for pound CAD. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, the way I see it, we've got one high, low, second high, low, third high, another low, and possibly a fourth high for, again, a new low as well. So I would be looking to short around here. I like how price is finding a lot of resistance here of the wicks. We're trying to push higher, but the market is failing a lot. On the hourly time frame, we're seeing potentially a bit of a double top here. So if we could see a strong rejection, I'd say that's actually a decent place for an entry. Stops above the high, and at least the target back into this low here, because of course this is where a lot of momentum came from. If the market is going to push higher, we might even come back, retest this area before pushing to the upside. So that would be a nice place to book some profits and maybe trade a stop. And of course, you got some lows on the left if you want to be a bit more conservative. But yeah, the way I see it, price is really struggling at resistance there. It does look to me like we're putting in another lower high. First test, second test, third test, and potentially a bit of a swing there. So yeah, we're pretty bearish here with pound CAD, and 1.81 is roughly where I'm looking for price to push into. Okay, Roadway, good afternoon, hope you're well. Yes, US 30, I'll take a look. I haven't looked at US 30 yet. Good morning, Alex, hope you're doing good, my man. No problem, Edon, happy to help. So, US 30. So yeah, I wanted US 30 to pull back a little bit more. Just like kind of NAS and S&P filled their respective gaps, I was looking for US 30 to do the same. Looks like it's more paying attention to the high here on the left. So it would be nice if price did fill that gap, because there's always that chance. Because if you put a stop loss here, there's always that chance that price might look to go and take that stop loss to go and fill the gap before pushing to the upside. So I don't really like that aspect about the trade. Whereas with NAS 100, we've done that. We've left we've filled the gap. So I'd be more confident to put a stop loss here, because I know that that's been done. Now price might want to move to the upside. Same thing with the S&P, or at least I think it's the same thing with the S&P. Yeah, we just about filled the gap there as well. So I'll be more confident to put a stop loss underneath the low here as well, because I know we've done our job. US 30, there's always that possibility that price might want to go fill the gap first before pushing up. I mean, if the other indices are looking very bullish, probably NAS will push, US 30 will probably push up at the same time as well. But just I wouldn't be as confident with a stop loss here. In fairness, resistance looks like it's holding pretty well at support. I like the wicks there on the 4-hour time frame as well. And if you can probably see a solid close there in the hourly chart, I think that would be a nice entry to take price higher, and at least back to 42.773 there. We've got the successive high lows, and looks like to me we're putting in another one. So yeah, it would be pretty bullish here with US 30, looking for a swing back to the high. I still would be a bit careful that a big bearish move isn't on the cards. I feel like it's still, we formed a massive double top there, broke structure not long ago as well. So the way I see it, price looks like it's correcting itself, potentially a big sell. Obviously at the moment, we are testing some support, and I do think we can see a bit of a swing, but I'll be careful. That gap looks a little bit scary. Anyway, so in terms of the yen pairs, CAD yen does look interesting. I'm keeping an eye on CAD yen. This one has just about come into my area of interest, which is basically between the 0.5 and the 0.618. So if I whip it out like so, between the 0.5 and 0.618, sorry, 0.5 and then 0.786 is kind of the areas I'm looking to trade from. We do have a nice trend line connecting the highs to the lows there. We've of course got one high, second high, looking for a third, and looking for us to turn around with that low high in that area. We've got some lovely support here, which is going to be taken as resistance as well. So potentially we could see price sell off from here. I'm just not quite convinced with the current price action right now. I know we've seen a bit of a bearish candle this morning. It hasn't really done much, left behind a bit of a wick. And if I draw the wicks here, from body to wick, take that across, you can see price is just closed right back in that zone still and just pierced the low there a little bit. So to me, CAD Yen, although it looks very, very corrective, still looks like a market that may have some more juice to squeeze to the upside before we do start talking about some sells here. So I'm being very patient with the yen pairs. Yeah, I don't think they're quite ready to be shorted yet. I want the market to be a bit stretched as well. I don't think CAD Yen is stretched enough. Looking at this ginormous swing to the downside and a very small corrective move up, I don't think we've seen enough upside for us to now start pushing lower. I think if we can get 2-3 bullish days pushing up, maybe trap some buys the wrong way, then I feel like after that there might be a nice little sell to take advantage of. But yeah, CAD Yen, something I'm getting ready to trade. But the way I see it, yeah, the market still looks not very bullish. It's just corrective. It's not bullish as in, okay, I'm looking to buy it because it looks like a good trade. It looks really corrective. So even if I do take a buy here, I want to be looking to take profit as soon as we get to the high there, because we're already seeing a lot of wicks and a lot of rejection. I think price will probably break through it though, but at the same time we could not. So it's not a good long unless you're on the lower time frames. I do think it'll be a good short though. Just probably need to wait a few days. Yep, gaps do tend to be filled. Majority of the time they do tend to be filled. So it's always best to, if you're looking to buy something, always wait for buy or sell. It's always best to wait for the gap to be filled, then look for a trade afterwards, because price has done its job. Now you can probably see the move happen. But if you're going to buy just before prices fill the gap, then you're asking for a bit of trouble there. Again, the market's not perfect. Maybe it doesn't fill the gap this time and maybe just shoots to the upside. But you probably would feel a bit like a donut if prices fill the gap and then saw the move happen. I'd rather just be a bit patient, wait to see if they can fill or not. I think NAS looks like a good trade anyway, so I'll probably just be more focused with NAS. What's up, Bar? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, I can take a look at oil. No problem, Roadway. Happy to help. Let me know what you're looking for on oil. So oil has just been grinding higher. I've been saying I do think oil is probably going to see a bit of a retracement, but I do like the buys with this one, because the way I see it is the weekly chart. Price has reached some massive weekly support. So as we can see, big support here, big rejection over there as well, and potentially over there as well. We had a really strong move into that level. Price consolidated for a few days and then broke to the upside. So now are we expecting something like this, a correction and a continuation to the upside? Because typically when the market has a strong sell, consolidates, fairly strong buy back up, it's normally price giving us a bit of a V shape or a U shape pattern, which normally resembles something like this in the future. So I would expect more upside. At the moment, we're coming back to some areas of supply, broken support, resistance areas. So this is still definitely bearish territory. In fact, there might be some nice sells on the way back down there for oil. But as we approach kind of anywhere around 68, I would say start looking for some long opportunities to take it back into resistance. But if you're looking to sell, now's a good time to be looking to do that as well. Looks like price is really struggling at that high there. But you can see on the left there, nice supply there on the 4-hour chart. We consolidated for a few candles before a sharp break to the downside. Now testing that area again for the first time. So I do think we can see something similar there too. But yeah, the way I see it, oil is coming back from a really big level of support where we could see a pretty meaningful move to the upside. We do have that higher time frame trend line. If I connect the highs there, 1, 2, 3, potentially 4. Well, it is 4. We could be seeing price push back into a similar vicinity to potentially form a fifth and potentially roll over again. But we are just squeezing in this area. So eventually we're going to see a pretty juicy breakout for oil, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, I'm not too sure. But we are just fluctuating, and perhaps now we're going to see a bigger push to the upside since we're coming from support. But yeah, at the moment in bearish territory, expecting a bit of a drop and then a push. No problem, happy to help. CHF JPY, another yen pair which I'm liking as well. Very, very corrective, slowly pushing to the upside, but I do think a big sell is on the cards for this one as well. The way I'm looking at price is we're having another pullback of this bearish leg. So this high to that low. Now we're having a pullback of that. We formed the prior high, prior low, prior high, prior low. I just want the market to be a bit more stretched to the upside before I do anticipate any sells. I feel like the market's still in its corrective phase, still in its corrective period. I feel like shorts here just a little bit premature. It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a swing back to the low, then I do feel like it's a bit premature. If you're looking for a bearish day or two, then sure, yeah, a nice place for that. It is now coming back to some areas where things are getting slightly more interesting now. So as you can see here on the weekly chart, resistance over there, resistance over there. Perhaps we could be doing that again for potential price to roll over. So I'm keeping an eye on that. We do have the long standing trend line at play as well. First, second, third. Maybe could be forming a fourth pretty soon as well. So there is some confluence in this area, but I think we still got maybe 2 or 3 bullish days in us for Swiss yen before we do see that sell really kick in. And then if I drop to the lower time frames, all I'm seeing is higher highs and higher lows. I'm still seeing really nice bullish momentum at play as well. Nice bullish leg over there. Nice bullish leg over there. And again, another nice bullish leg there too. And we're just coming back into more areas of support, demand, where buyers will be sitting and like to push price to the upside. So yeah, Swiss yen as well. Definitely a pair which I'm getting ready for a short, but to me just doesn't look quite ready yet. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm always just going to wait for a trade that sits right to me and it ticks my box as well. Sometimes me waiting means I might miss a move, but it will help me improve my success rate when taking trades because I'm being patient and waiting for the market to be ripe for the picking. At the moment, it's not quite ripe yet, so just waiting for Swiss yen to finish this kind of pullback phase, and then yeah, looking for a lower high in that area. I think 172, 173 is kind of the area I'm looking at. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, we have now smashed into the 0.5. I do think probably anywhere from this area here, 0.618 to then 0.786, I think that will be a nice little area because at that point we're probably a little bit stretched now. So if we can start to see some fatigue, wicks, rejection, we'll probably get a nice push to the downside. Again, it might not be all the way back to the swing low, but it'll be enough for us to at least profit from the move, lock in some gains, partial out, trailer stop, enough for us to, catch something. And if we get a swing back to the low, great. We'll hopefully capitalize on that as well. Some other yen pairs I'm looking at as well. Aussie yen as we push up. This one not so much. The price action hasn't been as clear. It's a little bit more choppy. New Zealand yen likewise as well. The overall kind of move to the downside is a bit more choppy. We are still kind of trading within this bearish channel here. So I'm kind of seeing what the play is really, because if New Zealand yen breaks out this channel, things get a little bit awkward. even though I think we probably will do at some stage, to be honest. But things do get a bit awkward if you do break out that channel. Because with the other yen pairs I just mentioned, there's some nice swings we're following. Euro yen, Swiss yen, CAD yen. We've seen some nice swings on the daily chart, which we're following. Nice swing there. We're looking for another one. CAD JPY as well. Yeah, nice swing there. We're looking for another one. Pound yen. Nice swing over there. Again, looking for another one for a push down. So there's some nice swings we're looking to follow. Whereas New Zealand yen, there is some nice swings too, but we're at the area which we should be looking to sell off now. If we do break out that channel, that's more of a bullish sign than a bearish one. And if I go over to Aussie yen, kind of the same situation as well. Sort of trading in a channel here too. So again, being very careful. I think if we can see a solid like spike through this zone here, a solid spike through resistance here. So if price can spike through that, then pull back down, maybe closes like a bearish shooting star candle, that would be a really nice confirmation for a short, because we've got some price support here on the left, which we're still respecting. Of course, the idea is that we're anticipating another lower high forming. So one, oh, there we go. So one over there, second over there, and perhaps a third forming. We've been pretty corrective on the way up as well. So, yeah, that's an indication that we're slowly moving and probably not likely going to reverse. And that wick to the upside will kind of give me what I'm looking for, because the market will be a bit more stretched. We'll pierce through the prior high over here. So anyone or any orders above that high there will be manipulated. And if you can come back underneath really hard, then that will be the characteristic I'm looking for, because a sharp break to the upside followed by a sharp recovery is a really powerful pattern in the market. Very common reversal pattern as well. Then yeah, I'll be looking for some confirmations in that area, stops above, and I reckon could at least get a swing back into the low here. But my extended target, further target, would be the wick low. I do think price is likely to take out this low at some stage. The way I'm looking at, we had a massive sell-off there back in July, and price tried to recover that over here, but basically failed, and now kind of just slowly rolling over. I'm expecting us to go and take out that wick low. So I still do see Aussie yen selling off, likewise with all the other yen pairs as well. But yeah, just waiting for the right time to strike. And I don't think it is just yet. We are at resistance. We know we are rejecting a little bit, but I feel like we can still kind of pierce the upside there before we do have that sell, and that would be a nice little trade. And again, you can even refine the entry, something like this. Then you're looking at like a nice 1 to 3 back into the low. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. Let me quickly have a look at the yen basket. USA preparing to attack Iran, so oil probably spike up. Okay, yeah, that can definitely cause some movement. Ends the USD SA, yes, I'll take a look at that as well. What pair was I going to look at? JPY basket. And of course, when I'm looking at the yen pairs, I'm going to be looking at the JPY basket as well, because this is a really good indication of what the yen's going to do. And if you're going to jump into a yen pair, you want to be knowing what yen's going to do, because it's normally the governing currency in a yen pair. If yen's strong, it's normally stronger than the rest. If it's weak, it's normally weaker than the rest. So again, with the yen basket, I'm looking for us to return back into resistance up there. So that's my expectation. With the yen basket, what I'm looking at is that we form this low here, lovely high, another higher low, lovely high over there. So the plan now is to try and find that next higher low for something like that. Again, we're kind of rounding off as well. I like how we're doing that too, because we had this really strong impulse. Now price kind of giving us this rounded bottom, which again normally does break to the upside as well. So I do still see us pushing up higher. We have tapped into this high here, more of a minor level, nothing crazy for the yen basket. We've had a relatively healthy retracement. We're coming back into the 0.5. I would like us to pull a little bit deeper, to be honest, and then drop into the 4-hour chart. Yeah, we're seeing some rejection there, but nothing critical there. I wouldn't be surprised if we're just pulling back into resistance just to continue our bearish move. So yeah, not quite ready to be looking to buying the yen basket just yet, or looking for the yen strength that I'm looking for, at least. Of course, depends what time frame you're looking at. I'm looking at a swing back to the high here. I don't think we're quite ready yet. We're getting there, but yeah, not quite ready yet. Anyway, let me take a look at NZD/USD. So NZD/USD, I am looking for a bit of a move to the downside for this one. Price has really struggled to break through 0.58. We've had a really tough time trying to break through that, especially with last week's price action. This is last week's candle. You can see it wicked to the upside through that zone there, and by the end of the week, we pulled back and closed bearish. And altogether, we've just been consolidating for the past few weeks. We've had a lot of bearish momentum, and now price is just pausing. So to me, it looks like price is probably going to have another push into support, which is back around 0.558. So dropping to the daily chart, you can see the past few days it's been sideways. I feel like if you can get a solid breakout below, price clears the consolidation, that would be a strong signal that says, okay, the bears are in control now, and we're likely to keep falling. Maybe a retest of that level is probably what you're going to be looking at to get into the trade. You can even enter on the breakout. I probably wouldn't, because I can see the market characteristics are just very, very choppy. So it's not like we're clean and we're trending well. Then I'll take a breakout. It's just because in this sort of market context, the odds of a breakout being a fake out are just a little bit higher. But of course, it is up to you. If you're looking for the more conservative option, you can always wait for the retest. And and wait to see if we can get some more downside. The only way I would turn bullish for NZD/USD and start looking for buys is if price can go and break through structure and take up the high here again. And of course, clear out that level there too. Because that would tell me, okay, we've got some bullish structure at play. And that is probably a bottom there for NZD/USD, or some type of bottom, or some type of low. Even if it's just a pullback for us to eventually continue lower. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with NZD/USD. Okay, you need to push higher on the news so you can sell it. So, okay, so you're waiting for price to push back into the higher end of the range. So 0.575-ish, around there. I mean, either way, even if we push lower, if you can get some pullbacks after that, that'll be good as well. Of course, selling higher will get the better price, but if you do get some shorts up here, you do have the support there to contend with, which you have to watch out for, because price can very much get there, respect it, and then reverse against you. So make sure you're prepared for that. Maybe lock in some gains just in case. Okay, so yeah, I like that area for a short. Of course, price has been respecting that range pretty well, so shorting at the high makes a load of sense to me. It's just, yeah, first targets around 0.571, you're going to have to watch out for. But the way I see it, dollar's looking pretty bullish to me as well. Nice close there on the 4-hour chart as well. And then we're still at resistance, but I like all the wicks we're putting to the downside here. So that to me looks pretty bullish as well. And I do think price is likely to break higher too. So yeah, pretty bullish on the dollar. And that should see lower prices for NZD/USD. But again, just because I'm bullish on the dollar doesn't mean we're bullish right now. We could still potentially see a bearish day or two before we do push up, which of course would affect the price action for NZD/USD and other USD pairs. So Yeah, just because I'm saying bullish dollar doesn't mean buy now, buy now. We could very much see some weakness. Yeah, in terms of the yen pairs which you went through, that's kind of where I'm at. A few of them I'm looking at. I think Aussie yen looks like a nice sell if it can really respect the high well. Pound yen looks good. Euro yen looks okay. I think pound yen looks a lot better. And CAD yen looks good as well. I just feel like the yen pairs are not quite done yet before we do short, and Swiss yen as well. Looks really good too. I'm going to be staying very patient on this one, but I'm looking for some big sells there. I think on the lower time frames, there could still be some nice buys in the shorts for the short term. So pound yen, for example, coming back into support. I feel like if you can hold this, you've got a nice swing to look at there. 100 pip move back to the high. Probably not going to get the best risk to reward there. It depends what entry time frame you use, but to me, it looks like this level is holding pretty well. I like the wick down the 4-hour chart as well. And that should give us a push back to 195.8. We may sell off from there again, so that's kind of the move I'm looking at. But the way I see it, support is still holding. If we do break through, if we do see a strong close breaking below, then that will get me to question, because we had a lot of momentum breaking to the upside. If we have a lot of momentum coming right back down again, well, maybe that was a bit of a fake out to wipe out some earlier sellers here. And maybe from that we continue south. So that would have to pay attention to. But I'll believe it when we see it. For now, we're still holding support, so that's still bullish territory for me. In terms of some of the pairs I'm looking at, so like I said, a lot of the yen pairs I'm looking to short. USD pairs I'm looking for some retracement and some longs in case of dollar CHF. I'm waiting for a breakout there and then a long. How are we doing, by the way? Hasn't really changed much. Yeah, I feel like we're not going to get the breakout until next week. I mean, we'll see what the news has in store for us today. So we've got CAD, GDP, PCE for dollar at 12.30 as well. And Michigan consumer sentiment at 2 o'clock. So we'll see what happens with that. But either way, I'm pretty bullish on the dollar, at least for the next few days. Let me have a look at next week. PMI for Aussie. Okay, we've got Aussie interest rate next week. That is Tuesday early morning, 4:30 UK time. Jolts for USD. Employment change, USD as well. And of course, non-farm payroll on Friday. Wow, March has gone quick. It's already April. So yeah, a couple things to keep an eye on next week. But yeah, dollar CHF, looking for us to break to the upside, but we're going to need a bullish USD and a pretty weak CHF as well to get the ball rolling. But I'll be there waiting. So yeah, USD pairs, dollar CHF breakout, Euro USD, pound USD pullbacks. Pretty much all the yen pairs are looking to short them. Just waiting for them to align. CAD pairs, I do like New Zealand CAD shorts. I've been keeping an eye on this one pretty much all week. Nothing's really happened, to be honest. I'll show you the week's price action. It's pretty much just this. That's the week's price action. Go to the weekly chart, pretty much encompasses everything there. So not a lot to take in this week, which is interesting because we had a really strong move to the downside last week. The fact that we just kind of paused and formed a bit of a minor consolidation, I'll say is a bit of a positive sign, really. It means that the buyers have tried to push price higher, but sellers have done pretty well at holding ground. And I do think we will continue lower. I'm not too sure if we'll get the retest of the high here, which was an opportunity I'm looking at. Yeah, potential double top for a sell. I think something like this is looking the more realistic opportunity. We've already had a retest of that area, but it hasn't been a big enough breakout for me to look for an entry myself. That fits my plan. We did come back and respect the level pretty well. Was that yesterday? Yeah, Thursday. So I'm looking at a bigger break to the downside and a bigger pullback before I do jump on board and participate in a move from that level. Again, my expectation for New Zealand CAD is a swing back to support here around 0.79765. So it definitely is a pair which I'm keeping a close eye on and getting ready to potentially take a short, but I don't think I'll be taking a short at least until next week. Gideon, is it possible to sell pound Aussie 1 hour? Last time I looked at pound Aussie, we were back at highs, weren't we? Yes, we were, weren't we? So, selling pound Aussie. I mean, I probably want to already be in the trade a little bit earlier than now. So I wouldn't be looking for any entries now on the hourly chart. We had the original rejection up there. Entering now is a little bit late, and it does increase the size of your stop loss and of course reduce the risk reward in that position. So altogether, I think there's probably more cons than pros looking to enter now. But in fairness, we are coming back from a nice level. So because pound Aussie is still bullish, we are still seeing a very comfortable uptrend on our hands right now. I do think price will eventually retrace and come back and retest the high, but most likely break back underneath the high here. So I still do see that on the cards there for pound Aussie. However, we are definitely clearly failing to break through resistance here, and I do think sells look good. But I'll just be very, very conservative with how I trade this. So if I did get short on this one, I'll move my stops to break even pretty quick, and I would not be so aggressive in terms of take profits, in terms of how far my take profits are, because I'm under the impression that the trend is still very much up and it could kick in bullish at any point. I might be swimming in some nice profits and then suddenly, boom, we're looking bullish again, sort of like what we happened here. Price is looking very bearish. I bet anyone who was selling prior to that would be loving life. And then suddenly all of your profits gone and price is back to your entry there. So locking in profits a little bit earlier, trailing a stop, or some type of measurement to protect your downside is definitely a must, especially when you're trying to call a top essentially and you're going against the momentum of higher time frames. So it's a nice area to short because we rejected it on so many occasions and very well too. We've kind of pushed away already, so if you're looking for more re-entries, I would wait for price to push back to the upside and even preferably take out the high as well. That would be nice because any previous sellers stops will be there, so if you can take that out, then see a rejection, that would be a nice catalyst or a nice confluence for the trade as well. And then I'll probably watch out for a swing low somewhere, and that might be my first target for the trade, to move stops to break even or maybe secure a partial. But yeah, it's a nice zone around 2.06 200, I would say, is a nice zone to short from. We've kind of already pulled away from that level, so like I said, wait for price to get back there again, just so you can refine your entry a little bit better. And again, if you do get stopped out of break even, because if you're going to move your stop to break even quickly, then there's of course a much higher chance you get wicked out at some random wick and get taken up for break even. You always want to look for the re-entry as well. As long as the trade is still valid and things still look good, of course, you want to look for the re-entry. Sort of like here, for example, let's say if you got short on that original rejection there, as price came back into the high, stops above the high there. Let's say that you went to break even because price came back to retest the level there, and you would have got stopped out at break even, your price would have turned around, but then you got another rejection. You can hop back in there, and then let's say you went to break even again because price came back there, or maybe you secured some partials this time, then you would have got taken at break even, but then you got another entry at that same level, another rejection at that area, stops above the high. This time you probably got a bit more removed there, maybe some partials. You would have got taken out at break even there as well. Didn't really get a re-entry there, but then anyway, prices come back to the same level. So as long as the level is still valid and price is still rejecting that same area, then you've got every right to be looking for a sell. If of course price is now breaking above it, then you want to hold your horses a little bit. But yeah, I think shorts look good. Still seeing a ton of wicks on the daily chart, weekly chart, still a lot of momentum, but we are stalling a little bit. I think pound NZD, did that one create new highs or? No, it didn't. Pound NZD still looks pretty bullish. Looks like we're just trying to clear resistance there. So to me, it looks like pound NZD's got a bit more upside in the tank back to the high there. So that's a bit of a red flag as well if you're looking to sell pound Aussie. Because if pound Aussie, if pound NZD and pound Aussie are positively correlated, which they are, and they're very highly correlated, if pound NZD is still going to push up, that means pound Aussie most likely will push up too. Might not be at the same pace or at the same distance, but it means it probably will push up as well. So you might get that retest of that level we're looking for. But yeah, pound NZD really strong move to the upside yesterday. It came back to respect the high here on the left pretty well. As you can see, we had a nice wick into that zone. Price pulled back and then used that as support to push along. And the 4-hour chart, we did close above. Not by much though. But if we continue to push on the hourly chart, then yeah, we're probably going to push back to the high around 2.274. Maybe from there, you'll probably catch some nice sells. Again, I wouldn't be too optimistic with targets. The trend is still very much up. So the odds of you catching a big move are pretty slim here. Potentially this is the next high low, and maybe we're on our way to see another higher high. So yeah, I'll watch out for that a lot. If I take a look at Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, this one did manage to hit support. I did expect price to break through it, however. I'm still looking for Euro NZD to get back down here, which is 1.85, 1.855. Now we've taken out some major highs on the left here. So we've taken out this high, price pulled back. We've taken out this high, price has had a pullback, just not as big as I've been expecting. Early in the week, we're firing a lot of wicks to the upside here, so that price is having a lot of trouble trying to break higher. And again, when the market is being very consistent with all these wicks, it's a strong sign that says, okay, sellers are doing a good job. Most likely we're going to get ready for a sell. And we did sell off, but we respected support. Now it looks like price is trapped. It's respecting support well, respecting resistance well, and it's kind of waiting for a breakout. So if you can see a nice daily candle closure below this, that'll be a nice catalyst for a sell. You can either sell on the breakout or use that to your advantage, wait for some retests, a pullback, and take some shorts like so. You can even look to try and anticipate some shorts up here. But you just have to be a bit careful as you approach support, because we could definitely turn around against you. So that would make for a good take profit or a good partial, a good place to take partials. But I wouldn't be looking to buy Euro NZD until I see a clear break of structure on the 4-hour chart. So something like this, breaking the high. Then I'd say, okay, price is bullish. And at that point, we are probably heading back to the high at 1.914. But at the moment, resistance is still holding. It's just a sideways market trap between support and resistance. Whichever way it breaks will give us a good idea as in what the next move will be. But I'm still looking for a push into the low. And if I take a look at Euro Aussie, I'm pretty sure I'm looking for something similar. Yes, I am looking for price to push back into this zone here, which is, what's that, 1.68. Still think we can get there. And daily chart not giving us as many clues there. 4 hour chart, I did say it would be nice to come back and retest that range. We still could do that. I would not write that off just yet. Still think we can push the upside and go and test that zone. But yeah, the expectation would be another swing back into support. We've got one high here, low, second high, new low, looking for a third one. And again, a push back into a low. So yeah, the crosses to me are looking pretty bearish as a whole in terms of where they're trading. I think they can retrace. Of course, the trend is still up, but I think they're coming to a phase where we might be able to retrace them. They're not looking high probability yet, which is why I'm not looking to take any trades on them myself. Again, I look at a wide range of markets, over 30 markets I look to trade. So it's extremely important that I'm always very selective and very patient for the markets and for the setups I'm looking to take, because otherwise I could easily take 20 trades a week if I wanted to, because there's just a lot of setups, but there might only be one good setup out of those 20. There might be 19 average setups and one good one. So it's up to me to make sure I'm kind of patient and wait for that good one to form. And that's one of the downsides of looking at a lot of markets, is that the market's always moving. There's always an opportunity. Price can always do something. And you might just kind of have that emotional kind of outburst of, I haven't taken a trade in a while, let me force something. Julius, what is up? Hope you're well. No problem. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream, subscribed. I do appreciate all the kind messages I've received recently. I'm glad the streams are helping. But if you could do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, of course, hit the bell as well, so you don't miss out on any streams in the future. But yeah, appreciate that. Julius, may I request if you have trade gaps, have been observing US 100, and will be grateful to see you align or thoughts on it. Yeah, so gaps are not really something I trade a lot because I spend most of my trading FX. I've only recently started to look to trade US 30. I'm starting to add indices to my trading. I've looked at indices for a while, but I just never traded them. I just looked at it just for interest and on my streams and stuff. I've always been trading FX, pairs, gold, silver as well. So I've recently been trading indices, and FX, you don't normally see a lot of gaps, to be honest. Of course, you see gaps hit from time to time, but most of the time with gaps in FX, of course, you'll get the gap for the weekly candle opens. It opens on the Sunday night, and by the time London sessions are open on Monday, normally the gap's already been filled by then, to be honest, with FX as well. So I don't really find myself having to deal with gaps too much with Forex, so it's not really something I think about too much. Of course, I know that gaps mostly do fill, so if there is a gap, I can use that as a confidence for my trade. But it's a rarity. It doesn't happen a lot for me to really think about too much. For indices, though, I do see gaps happen a little bit more often. So it would be something to think about there, and even just base a strategy around that, to be honest. just waiting for gaps to happen and try and base strategies, try and call the tops and look for fills. But yeah, gaps do fill most of the time. Gaps do fill most of the time, so that would be your expectation when you do see a gap. That price is eventually going to go and fill that. Of course, NAS 100 did go and fill that. We did see a really nice gap at the start of the week. We had the same gap for all the US indices, or the major ones anyway. US 30, US 100, and S&P. S&P and NAS has filled it. US 30 didn't fill it. Yeah, US 30 hasn't filled the gap yet, although it might still be looking to do that. Hasn't filled it yet, I should say. So yeah, over to NAS. So NAS has filled the gap. We've come back into a nice area where we can see some upside. The key thing I'll be looking for now for NAS is momentum, really. Not a big fan of that hourly candle closure. Didn't really see as much momentum as I wanted there. It was a nice push, certainly after a big sell to the downside, because we were just moving sideways for a while. Price fakes the upside with the wick, strong close to the downside, and then we do get another big sell there. So it looks like price is trying to recover that, but all it's done is come back into the range and looks like it's rejecting it again. So I need to see momentum really push the upside here with NAS to really indicate to me that this sell here was just price having that kind of climax, maybe sucking in some traders last minute for us to now propel to the upside. That's kind of what I'm looking for, which would mean a strong close on the hourly chart, or even a strong close in the 4-hour chart, just to indicate momentum is back with the buyers. At the moment, that's not really looking like that's the case, and like I said, price might be retesting this consolidation to continue selling. In terms of where we're situated, where we're trading, we're at a nice area where a high low could form. We have filled the gap down the left, so that job, that box is ticked. I do like where we're trading. I like how corrected we are, because we did see a pretty big drop there midweek, and now price is being very corrective on the way down. So all that momentum we initially had has kind of disappeared, and now price is coming back into some areas on the left here. I do think we can have a bit of a reaction. So I think for US 100, we're at a really nice area for a buy, a really nice area where a high low could form. It's just waiting for confirmations now. Price is the best indication of price. If momentum's switching, we're seeing strong bullish momentum coming into the market, then there's a good chance price is going to push up. At the moment, we're not quite seeing that. We've had a strong drop there in the lower time frames, and it looks like price has just kind of corrected that and still looking pretty bearish. So, I mean, if I drop to like the 15-minute chart, yeah, so there's your consolidation there. There's your fake out over there. Then there's your big drop, and it looks like price is coming back to retest it, and we're seeing another sell. So yeah, it's not looking quite ready yet to be bought. But again, things can change quickly this afternoon. We're looking pretty bearish now on the lower time frames. We might consolidate for a little bit. Then maybe in a couple of hours, we see a strong close and things look good again. Or maybe we see a bit of a wick to the downside again, kind of like we did yesterday. That was a big wick there. Might see another one of those wicks, and then we push up again, kind of like we did yesterday as well. And that could be a nice little buy situation later today. So things can change quickly this afternoon, but the key takeaway is we're looking for momentum to really step in there for a buy. But yeah, I like where we're trading for NAS. It's a nice area. Just does not look ready to be bought yet. And if I go to S&P, I'm not really liking the longs for this one. I say that because we've just retested a really strong level of support. Now it is flipped as resistance. As we can see, big push to the upside. We broke through that. Now price is testing as resistance. And also something to take into consideration, we've rejected the 200 moving average, which for the S&P is a pretty big thing. The daily 200 moving average is something that a lot of people do look at and base judgment on for the S&P. If we're above it, we're bullish. If we're below, we're bearish. And if you do look at the history of how prices respect to the 200, it's been more or less true, to be honest. If we're above it, And the market is bullish if we're below it, or at least bearish, or at least seeing a bigger retracement. So the fact that price at the moment has come back to respect the 200 is definitely something you don't want to see as a buyer. Of course, things can change pretty quickly. Suddenly we might push to the upside and things look bullish again. Maybe not that bullish, but break back above the 200. If we can do that, then we're bullish again and we're looking for buys. But if we keep respecting the 200 like we did yesterday or the day before, then that invites a big sell there for the S&P. So like I said, respecting the support and resistance and respecting the 200 moving average, that's a pretty bearish sign to me. And especially because we had a nice bearish engulfing candle away from that level. So although the S&P is still in a nice place for a buy in the lower time frames, I would be a little bit hesitant buying that just because of where we're rejecting. The reason why I like NAS a lot more is because NAS hasn't got to that level yet. So we might still push up there. Even the 200 moving average, we kind of missed it by a very small distance there. So even the 200 moving average, we might still push up a little bit deeper to go and actually test it. So for that reason, I'd rather look to buy NAS. Of course, they're very much alike. So if S&P does fall, then it probably will see NAS fall as well. But because the price action looks better, I'd rather focus on NAS. But it's the same situation. Come back to the gap, into the trend line. Big sell-off yesterday, but since then we've been very, very corrective. So it looks like all that momentum we had is kind of gone. And price is probably looking to turn around here. Actual channel. If you can see some momentum above that, that could be a nice entry on the 4H. Hourly chart. Yeah, to me, hourly chart looks like we just come back to retest that consolidation. Not looking too good there. Just respecting that as resistance. You want to see price kind of push through that and close above. How is the DAX looking? Okay, DAX is still pretty tired. It looks like we're trying to break through the trend line. I wouldn't say we're successful just yet, but we are definitely giving the trend line a good go there. And if that does break, then that would make me pretty bearish on the DAX, because the DAX is very stretched. It's been flying to the upside, so it's definitely need a bit of a pullback. It's just about when, really. And a break of that trend line, especially a solid one for a lot of momentum, that'll be the win. Yusuf, what is up? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good, my man. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Julius, no problem. Happy to help. Yeah, if I traded indices a lot more, I probably would focus on gaps a lot more. But FX gaps, not that common. They're a little bit more common with the more minor pairs. Euro USD, you might see a gap or a decent sized gap, because of course you might get some very, very small ones, but a decent sized gap, you might see one maybe once a month or once every 2 months. You might see a bit of a gap on Euro. But then, like I said, when I wake up on Monday morning, normally it's already filled already. So, yeah, that ship has sailed. So, and if you want to focus on gaps, I think there's opportunities there. Solely basic strategy around gaps, I think there is something to look at there. But you probably want to be trading as soon as the market's open. Probably you want to wait for the spread to kind of come back to normal a little bit as well. One more thing, what's your view on macro recession looming? Recession's been looming for a while, to be honest. Recession's been looming for a while, so it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit. It's gonna hit hard. But again, as a trader, if you're asking me as a trader, I've got to deal with what the market is giving me right now. At the moment, it looks like maybe some indices are looking to turn around. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it's on the horizon. But I deal with price. You know, if price is still looking bullish or if price is still looking bearish, that's where I'm at. I try not to let my kind of biases leak onto the chart because I mean it's fine to have a bias. Don't get me wrong. You want to have a bias because if your bias is built of solid foundation, solid information, then you want to use that. But you want to make sure the price is also agreeing with that bias. And then when it is, then you can trade that with a bit of confidence and take advantage of the opportunity. If price is not showing that bias, and again the recession talk has been looming for a while, and we've still seen it not really be priced into the market yet. So I'm just gonna wait for price to give me the heads up, and then I'll look to see if I can take advantage. Is that USD ruble? King of gaps? Yeah, I bet it is. Beginner friendly USD. I don't think that's a beginner friendly, my man, at all. I know you've been sarcastic, but that is a horrible pair to trade. I've probably looked at it a few times. The only times I've looked at it is when someone requests it on stream. I don't think I've ever looked at that pair in my personal time, ever. What's this obsession with exotic currency pairs, Lighton? What's this obsession? Is Euro USD, Pound USD not good enough? Yusuf, yesterday during the stream, late while I rewatched someone asked a question on which is the best go-to pair on the low time frame. Please have a follow-up question. Yeah, ask away. Yeah, I remember that. Someone asked about best pairs to trade in the lower time frames. I said Euro USD, Pound USD, Pound Yen. I would say Euro and Pound are very similar, very kind of sensible pairs. Pound USD will give you a bit more pips than Euro. Again, heavily traded. So in terms of the price action, especially for Euro USD, it's going to be the purest you'll find because it's got the most volume, most participants in the market there. So price action will be pretty sensible. And then Pound Yen is pretty good as well because it moves a lot. It can be a bit more erratic in behavior and a bit more to get used to. But if you can get a nice little tuning going with Pound Yen, your average trade in Euro USD might be like a 1 to 2. You can easily get that to 1 to 3 using the exact same effort because just Pound Yen has bigger swings. So there's more pips to catch there. Yeah, exactly. GJ is the best for that. Exactly. There's no one particular pair that's the holy grail. Every market you can trade profitably. At least I believe that anyway. But certainly, if you're a beginner, you just want to pick a pair or a few pairs to trade, and you just want to start there, and of course experiment later. I'd say Euro USD is a great place to start. Pound USD is a great place to start. Pound Yen's a good place to start as well. A bit more aggressive, like I said, but I feel like it's a good place to learn as well. Exactly, you can get some big moves there on Pound Yen, especially from an intraday point of view as well. Because for the same swing, you're going to get a lot more, a lot more juice out of Pound Yen than Euro. Being in sometimes, I was really shocked that you can have pairs moving like USD rubles since I've always referenced them for jokes. Yeah, of course, stuff blowing count. If you, yeah, of course, yeah, I would very strongly recommend not trading USD, ruble, beginner or advanced. To be fair, see, this the last time I looked at it, I think it was early March. Was it you that made me look at USD ruble Lighten? I feel like it was you. Um, Although call the swing there pretty well, so nice short. But yeah, I would not trade it. Spreads are not great. Swaps won't be great. It will have some weird consolidations. I mean, what is going on here? Very, very slow, of course. And then if it's fundamentally charged, it can have some crazy swings like this as well. That was in 2022. So yeah, it's just more erratic, especially when you're a price action based trader. You want to trade markets where there's a lot of other participants, and then because the market's going to move a lot smoother and obey the laws of price action a lot more. So it's just going to be better to trade, and you get better conditions as well. Hey, appreciate Julius. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out, so I do really appreciate that. Um, and of course, subscribe whilst you're at it as well. Yusuf, I usually do practice the London session, and the pairs in my watch list are all the USD pairs, some GBP. I notice having many pairs I'm looking is bad for me because price moves a lot in the 15. Yeah, if you're going to be in the lower time frames, I wouldn't have more than, if you're trading the 50-minute time frame, I wouldn't have more than, I'll say max 5, but preferably 3, to be honest. Because you got so much information. You got so much information. You will fry yourself a little bit because this pair's doing that. This pair's doing that. You want to don't miss that. You don't want to not miss that. You got a trade running here. You got a trade running there, and you're gonna get a new candle every 15 minutes. Again, especially when you're learning as well, you can always add more as you get better. You might be able to handle 10 pairs on the 50-minute chart, but allow you to gain that necessary experience for you to actually handle 10 pairs. I take trades on the 4-hour chart, sometimes even take trades on the daily chart. So I've got the luxury of looking at a lot of markets because, in one day I only get 6 candles and 2 of them I'm asleep for. So technically only 4 candles that I'm actually awake to see the close of and potentially trade. So it's a lot slow on the 4-hour chart, which means I can look at different pairs and not be too overwhelmed. But definitely when you're a beginner, trading in the 15, I say keep it to 3 at the moment, 5 absolute maximum, but I think 3 is good. You can stay on top of things. It might mean you take a little bit less trades, but I think that'll be a good thing in the beginning. And then when you get a bit more comfortable, you can always increase it later. Which pair do you think has the best price action in London sessions? Pound USD is pretty good. Pound yen's pretty good as well. Euro USD does move a bit in the London session as well. Yeah, I'll probably say, of course, pound USD would be the best one, but I think pound yen's pretty good. Euro's pretty good as well. I think those 3 should be the pairs you could be looking at. Maybe a couple more if you wanted. But I'll keep it simple, and you can always expand as you improve and gain more experience, especially as a beginner. Worst thing to do in trading is to bite off more than you can chew, because this is it's a money game. If you risk too much, the market will make sure it does punish you. can always gain experience and then increase your tolerance as you get better. But anyway, USD is still looking a little bit strong. We haven't budged at all for a while. I feel like price might be waiting for the news there, because I had a look at this like an hour ago and it's still pretty much in the same place. Anyway, how's silver doing? Okay, momentum's still looking good. So looks like that break and retest is providing some goods there. Decent breakout, retest this morning. Nice push to the upside. How's gold doing? Because that looked like it was pulling back quite a lot. Okay, it's flipped bullish. The current 4-hour candle. I like the wicks there to the downside as well. Yeah, gold's just looking bullish. It might retrace a bit because it's just taking out some new highs, so it's probably due for a bit of retracement, but I think 3100 is looking really likely at this point, which is really good because if gold's going to keep pushing, then silver's likely to follow suit. And that hopefully will take me back to the highs there, and I can start locking in some gains there for silver. So yeah, looking pretty good there. Pound yen, what we doing? Still holding support there. Yeah, Kaijin still holding support as well. So yeah, not quite ready yet to be short in the yen pairs. I have 3 pairs I'm looking at and they give me a head spin sometimes. Of course, yeah, I can imagine. It's because lower time frames, you've got that added pace of things. 3 pairs might not sound like a lot, but because I know you trade the 5-minute chart, it is a lot. Even because it surprises me because I rarely ever look at the lower time frames. The only time I look at below the hourly chart is when I'm on stream and someone asks me to look at a 5-minute chart or a 50-minute chart. That's the only time I look at intraday time frames, apart from like the hourly and the 4-hour chart. So it's funny because I'll look at like when Darkshun asked me to look at the 5-minute chart on GJ. I'll look at the chart, and then the next day I'll look at the chart again, and I'll be so shocked about how much price action there's been, how much movement there's been between last time I looked at it and the time I'm looking at it currently. And it just reminds me just how fast paced and how much information there is on the 5-minute chart. So yeah, I can imagine. You want to keep things, streamlined as possible. And if you're going to be in the lower time frames, 15-minute, 5-minute chart, especially 1-minute chart, if I was in the 1 minute, I would only have 1 pair, 100%. There's no way I could be juggling more than one pair on the 1-minute chart. Every minute there's more information. Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, I'll keep it simple. And again, if you find that you're comfortable and you got a good rhythm going and you feel like you can add more, then you can add more later on. But you want to do less than more later rather than more than less. Especially in trading. Silver by 0.9 correlated with gold. Yeah, there's a pretty strong correlation there with gold as well. So when I saw gold break into the upside this morning, I was like, okay, that is what I like to see. Which is funny because gold shot to the upside, then I had a look at silver and it barely budged, but I wasn't too flabbergasted because I know that silver is sometimes a bit of a lag, so gold could be crushing it and silver might actually look a bit bearish, but then give it 24, 48 hours, silver will slowly creep up and make some gains as well. And I've got a feeling silver's going to do that. It's already Friday today, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with the news. But I feel like next week we might see price just go and spike through those highs. We're going to get another weekly candle close, and that weekly candle, if it can close anything similar to how it's looking right now, even if it pulls back and leaves a bit more of a wick there, that's still a really solid candle closure on the weekly chart. And the odds of us taking out that high there, I think, are pretty high. And next Monday, we'll be getting some monthly candle closures and quarterly candle closures as well. So I'm definitely going to be spending a bit more time on the higher time frames now to see how the monthly and how the quarterly candles close, because they'll provide a lot of information in terms of momentum and rejection about what we can see during April and Q2 of the year as well. This is March at the moment for silver. If you can get a solid close like that on March, well, there's a very high chance we pass that wick high. There's a lot of momentum here. We've cleared some resistance, strong close, barely any wicks to the downside or to the upside there. So it's just a lot of momentum in March there. And it's going to close on Monday. If we can close similar to this, even with a bit more wick, that's fine as well. But the odds of us just continuing in April, again, April might not close bullish, but it probably will at least provide a bit of a wick to the upside. Even if April does close bearish, we probably will get a bit of a wick, and that will hopefully go and hit my take profits as well. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of momentum there. And let me have a look at gold too. Yeah, gold is just since the 1st of Jan, since Jan 2024, there's only been arguably 2 bearish candles on the month. This slightly bearish, but it's just a doji. So effectively, if you bought at the start of the month and close your trade at the end of the month, pretty much only 2 months you would have lost. Every other month you would have made a profit. That's just how bullish gold's been. And again, this month as well, strong close as well. So I think, again, we'll probably get another push during April. It might not close bullish, but we probably will get a wick piercing the high there. So I can probably expect higher prices. If I go to the quarterly time frame, that is looking very bullish as well. Let me take a look at silver in the quarterly. Yep, going to give us a strong close there too. So just a lot of momentum in the market. So yeah, expecting us to keep pushing. Anytime I go over 30 minutes, I'm trying to micromanage a losing trade. Winning trades never step lower than hourly. That's a good realization, to be fair. Because if you find yourself hopping into the 30-minute time frame, you know what's up. You're trying to micromanage a losing position. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is try and have a system which you look at the charts for. So you're not doing anything out of a whim or on the spot. You know, if you're going to close a trade early because it's not really running well, then try and have like a method for that. Like if you see this and that, you close the trade early, or whatever it could be, a loss of momentum, a big rejection. Have that kind of planned before, so when you do close a trade, it's off good merit. Because of course you won't be perfect. You'll sometimes close trades early that continue in your favor. And sometimes you won't, and they come back against you. You're not going to know until it's happened. But the best thing to do is have a bit of a method for it. You can have room for discretion and thinking on the spot. I think that's a really big thing that us retail traders have advantage for, because we can think on the spot and have that flexibility. But at the same time, you don't have too much flexibility, because it tends to lead into emotional decisions and not consistent ones. So there's nothing wrong about dropping to the lower time frames to manage a trade, but have like a system for that as well. Something you're looking for that tells you, okay, now it's time to exit. Otherwise, you'll probably find yourself drop below the 5-minute chart at some point, trying to really micromanage a trade, and it's just going to cause you more stress. Really, better off just let it hit stop loss. Really, to be honest, keep your mind a bit more at ease. But yeah, in terms of my trading next week, I think yen pairs will probably steal the show. I think a couple more days of bullishness and I'll be ready to short them. And then I'll keep an eye on dollar CHF. I think that's the most likely dollar pair that I'll probably look to trade. Just need the break of the resistance there, and I'll look for some longs. Euro USD is still quite a way away from a buy, to be honest. I'm looking at 1.06. Might take us a full week to get there before I can actually look for a buy. Pound USD, not as far, but still might take a bit of a while. We shall see. Yeah, I will be posting my analysis on the weekend as always, going through this week's price action, sharing my trades and forecasting the next. So make sure you do look out for that video. I'll be posting on Saturday as usual. We'll be live again next week as normal as well, between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time every weekday, Monday to Friday. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, come say hi, come have a chat with us. But guys, I do really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning into the stream today. And if you have liked the stream as well, I do really appreciate that. If you haven't, please go do so. It does really help out the channel. And of course, hit the bell too, subscribe to the channel too. That does help keep you in the loop and helps the channel out as well. Make sure you check out the Elevating Traders link. Link to the Discord. It's in the description below, also at the top of the chat. You can join discussions, chat with other traders, chat with myself there as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out. But guys, I do really appreciate you tuning into the stream. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Like I said, look out for the analysis on the weekend. But guys, have a good one, and I'll catch you all in the next stream.